Hey guys, it's Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a Wednesday, October 19th, and I'm going to be vlogging a day in the life of a physical therapy student. I don't film many day in the lives on my channel just because I prefer to show weeks in my life because it just shows more. I feel like if I just vlogged a typical day, it would be a little bit boring for you guys. If you just heard anything, my dog, Teddy, just jumped down and he was jingling. Hello, buddy. But I am so excited, and the reason I am vlogging today is because I finally get to go in the NICU. And I actually went yesterday as well, but it was kind of a surprise and I didn't know I was going, but I know for a fact I'm going today as well. So I figured I would vlog and kind of take you guys with me. Obviously not into the NICU, but I'll talk with you afterwards and tell you guys kind of what I saw yesterday, what I see today, and just kind of explain what physical therapists do in the NICU. So I am so excited. If you didn't know, I currently am in my last year of physical therapy school, and the last 3 semesters of my program are just full-time clinical rotations. So this is my second one in acute care in the hospital. So this is week 8 of 12, I believe, so I'm almost done, and I'm happy I finally got to get into the NICU. I have to leave pretty soon here, so I'm going to finish drinking my coffee, of course. Quick little lunch slash snack, what I am bringing. Last night I meal prepped pasta with Trader Joe's vodka sauce and frozen shrimp that I cooked in the air fryer with oil and just some spices. These perfect bars, which they sell at Aldi, but also Publix I've seen. They're the little snack size, so they're like the perfect size to eat quickly, and they kind of taste like cookie dough. Some pretzels to munch on, and a squeezy applesauce. And lastly, an Alani Nu energy drink. This is the Witch's Brew flavor. I just bought a 12-pack of these at GNC, and they are really good. They taste exactly like caramel apple. I don't love having them with food because the taste is really strong and it doesn't really mesh with a meal, but I'll probably have this like while I'm documenting after lunch for like an hour or so. A little puppy playtime before I have to leave. Hello guys, I just got back from the hospital and I walked Teddy and I changed into some comfy clothes and I threw my scrubs in the wash to wash for the rest of the week because I didn't have any clean pairs for tomorrow. But I thought I would sit down and just chat with you guys about my day in the NICU yesterday and today. So I wasn't there the entire day because as far as I know, the NICU program at my hospital for therapy is pretty new, so there's not a ton of babies that are receiving services or need services at this time. So yesterday I got to see 2 babies with the physical therapist, and today I actually was with the speech therapist seeing 1 baby who we also saw yesterday. So I'll start out with yesterday and kind of do a little bit of a story time. I told my clinical instructor that I had an interest in like women's health and I absolutely love moms and babies, and he kind of mentioned, oh well, like they are starting up kind of like a NICU program here, like we'll definitely get you in there before the end of this rotation. And then I kind of didn't hear anything about it, kind of forgot about it honestly. And then yesterday I was just in the hallway with my instructor, like just got out of a treatment room, and the speech therapist walked by and was like, Kristen, like there's babies today, like let's go, 11:30, like we're going. So it was just like so spontaneous and I was so excited, and my immediate thought was, I'm so sad I'm not vlogging today, so I have to vlog tomorrow and update y'all. I was thinking about you guys literally the second that I got that news because I feel like NICU therapy is something that is super unique and interesting to a lot of people. So I'm so thankful I got the opportunity to experience it. So I went up to the NICU at 11:30. And there are certain touch times throughout the day, which basically means all of the providers try to touch the baby at the same time. I think they told me it was 9:30, 11:30, and 2:30, something like that, because they do want the babies obviously to sleep a lot so they can rest up and grow and develop. They don't want all these providers interrupting the baby frequently throughout the day like we do with any other hospital patient. So when I went, the PT, the speech therapist, the nurse, and the mom all were working with the baby like back to back to back at the 11:30 touch time, if that makes sense. So when we went up to the NICU, first things first, you have to buzz in because it's a locked unit, and then we had to scrub our hands with this like enzyme scrub for 3 minutes because obviously babies are very sensitive to germs and hospital germs, and when you're coming from treating patients on the floors, you gotta scrub up really good. So obviously did that, and then we are in the unit, and the first baby we worked with was in an isolette, which basically, I will insert a picture here, but it is a temperature regulated container, and it has 2 little holes to put your hands in to work with the baby. And babies, if they're born super prematurely, can't regulate their body temperature, so they have to stay in an isolette until they are able to do so. And the baby was so tiny and so precious, and I can't even describe to you guys like the size of the hospital equipment. Like imagine like an oxygen nasal cannula for an adult, and then like shrunken down to an itty bitty like doll size, and then that's what it is on the human. Same with like telemetry leads, like NG tubes, like everything was just so little, and the stethoscopes were so little and so cute, and everything was just so cute. Someone count how many times I say cute in this little clip and let me know down below. But anyways, the PT went first, and I was just shadowing, by the way. I wasn't actually doing anything because this kind of is a requires further training sort of thing. In school, we had 1 lecture about the NICU, but obviously didn't do anything with that. So just to clarify, didn't do anything, was just observing. But the PT put her hands in the little isolette chamber. The baby wasn't able to open its eyes yet, given the age that it was at. So she just put like 1 hand on the head, 1 hand on the belly, just to kind of calm the baby and let it know that we were there and about to start working. She was trying to get the baby to kind of hug her arms into midline and just kind of promote that like calming feeling. And then she was working on seeing if the reflexes were present by going like this and seeing if they grasped in each hand as well as the foot, seeing if the baby would actively rotate the head side to side. She then kind of sat the baby up and worked on facilitating the baby being able to hold its head up against gravity, because when babies are born prematurely, a lot of times they're very floppy, and if you sit them up, they'll just kind of go like that. So those were the things we're working on, and the whole time you're looking at the heart rate monitor, the blood pressure, the oxygen, the respiratory rate, making sure the baby isn't in distress, making sure those numbers are stable. If they arch their back and splay their fingers, I was told that is a big stop sign. They're in distress and we don't want to tax their system too much. So the sessions in the NICU can be super short. I think the PT was working with the baby for like 4 minutes before it was like too much for the baby to handle. And yeah, so then after that, the speech therapist worked with that same baby, working on kind of facilitating like sucking and swallowing to get ready for feeding, because it was on a feeding tube at that moment. And then that baby we actually saw today again for a 2nd time, and it was super exciting because the baby was moved from the little isolation chamber into kind of out in the open. So the speech therapist was able to work with the baby kind of in his little arms, and it was in the world for the first time, and they were able to do a lot more because obviously you're holding the baby and it's not in the little isolette chamber. So that was just a really happy moment, and like everyone was crying because the baby was out for the first time and sucking on a bottle, and the speech therapist was facilitating sucking and swallowing. So that was really happy. The other baby we saw in the NICU kind of missed half of the session because I was with the speech therapist, but they had, were premature obviously, so in the NICU, but that baby had flattening of the back of the head, which is caused by being in the same position for too long. Like if a baby is constantly on its back, the bones are really soft, so the head will kind of deform. So the PT like repositioned the baby inside lying with a mini little wedge and pillows just to promote a change of position, and then was working on similar things that I described before, like sitting up against gravity, the reflexes, turning the head, stuff like that. But overall, it was just such a fun thing to see. I absolutely love babies. I want to have like 5 kids of my own. Just kidding. Maybe 3 or 4. Personally, I don't know if I could work in the NICU full time just because of the sad things that do happen and that you do see, but you also see some really beautiful, amazing, happy moments like I did today. So I think it is nice to know that there is that option to kind of treat regular acute care hospital patients and then just see the occasional baby in the NICU, because at my hospital, that's what the therapists do. They're not solely NICU therapists. They kind of do a mix of everything. So yeah, that was my day in the NICU. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will try to answer them as best I can. But disclaimer, I'm not an expert. This is just my 2 hours in the NICU and my one lecture that I did in pediatrics about the NICU. So that is that. I'm going to eat something because I'm super hungry, and for the rest of the night, I'm going to work on my research case report. If you didn't know, on top of my current clinical rotation, I also am in a research class where we are working on our big final research project, and our huge draft is due on Monday, but I am going out of town this weekend, so I need to get it done and knocked out now. So I'm gonna eat and be at my desk for the rest of the night. Oh my gosh, also, I almost forgot to show you guys. One of these sweet speech therapists got all of the PTs and PTAs stickers for Physical Therapy Month, and she got me one, which she totally didn't need to, but it's so cute. It says Future Physical Therapist, and I'm going to put it on my water bottle because it matches super perfectly. Literally, how cute does it look? I am obsessed. Ignore the big dent. I've dropped my Hydro Flask so many times, but I think it's just the cutest. Cozy on my couch with my laptop, blanket, and glasses on. I finished a very rough draft of my case report, but I have all my sources, which there's like 20 sources, by the way. So I figured it was time to cite them all and work on the citations, because if you have ever written an AMA paper before, you know that the citations are an absolute pain because you have to cite them in the order they appear in the paper rather than by like alphabetical or anything like that. So you really can't do the citations until you are done and know absolutely like where in the paper certain things are going to fall, if that makes sense. So right now I kind of have the draft written, and then instead of having the citation, I just put little like superscript in red font and wrote like the author's name or something. So now I have to go back and cite all of these sources, and it's probably going to take me like a few hours. I'm not even joking. So updates to come on that. If you're interested, the title of my case report is The Physical Therapy Treatment of Temporomandibular Joint Disorder and Cervicalgia in an Individual with History of Recurring Migraines, a Case Report. So if you didn't know, we had to pick one patient from our summer clinical to kind of write about, and I had a super interesting patient that had jaw pain and neck pain and also history of migraines, and she improved super quickly with the interventions that we did. So that is what I'm talking about. If you'd like to hear more about it, let me know. Probably not though, because who cares about my little research report? Okay, gonna cite these things and probably talk to you guys when I'm done, so wish me luck. Hello guys, I have not updated you in like 4 hours because I have been going through it. So like I mentioned, my plan was to just add the citations to my draft. My draft was 16 pages for some background reference, and I did a ton of it over this weekend, and then yesterday I went through and really like edited it, perfected it, made sure it was like professional sounding, went through the rubric and really just like ironed out all the details to smooth it out. And I spent a few hours on it and was pretty much ready to submit except for these citations. And when I went to open it today, it said I had not modified the document since this weekend. So every single thing I did last night did not save, and I have no idea why. This has never happened to me before. I have the autosave thing on my Word. I have OneDrive. I tried every single thing I could think of, and that came up on Google, YouTube, called my boyfriend, called my brother, could not get it back. After about a good 2 hours of trying, I decided to just stick with what I have. It could have been worse. It could have deleted everything. I at least still had the kind of unedited draft, so I just really quickly tried to change what I remembered from yesterday and went ahead and did the citations. So now it is like 10:30 p.m. and I am feeling quite discouraged and quite exhausted, so I'm going to end this vlog in a minute and head to bed, but I just wanted to tell you all that happened. Keep it real here. Although I did have a good day in the NICU, I just had a kind of not so great night having to redo a bunch of schoolwork I spent hours and hours doing. But Anyways, thank you guys for watching this vlog. As always, please be sure to leave any questions you have down below because I'd be more than happy to answer them for you guys. And I will talk to you in my next video next week. Bye!